Hey guys, welcome to week 6. This week we're talking about approaching sponsors, which is obviously a pretty important part of this process. Now, as far as approaching sponsors, I think it's really important that before you get started, you have a plan of attack in place or a process for approaching sponsors in place. This is important because this plan of attack means that you can know exactly what you're going to do, depending on what is thrown at you, how you're going to react, what your next step is, all that kind of thing. So that way you're prepared, you're less likely to get flustered if you have a plan of attack, and it can keep you on track when you're obviously probably quite nervous. You've got something to refer to and keep pushing forward to make sure that when you get off that phone call or finish that meeting, that you've had some sort of outcome to continue moving you through the sponsorship process. So preparation is key, just like with everything else, and research is just completely important. We talked about earlier, starting your target list and obviously all the research that has to go into that. But what I'm going to talk to you about today as far as research is having it as part of the natural part of your process when you're talking to sponsors, because you need to always be trying to improve your knowledge as far as who you're talking to and what they want and what they're looking for, because all the information in the world, that's online from websites and things like that, it's the information that's straight from the horse's mouth, from the people that are making or breaking these decisions for you, is just invaluable, because that's, it's the first hand, this is what I want kind of information. So that's what you really want. So you want to try and go in with a mindset of always asking questions and always trying to get as much information as you can, and not only just asking questions but listening to what's being said. And that might sound really simple and really obvious, but especially when you're nervous and you've got a certain thing that you want to get done, it's really easy to fall into that trap of waiting for the next part where you speak rather than actually listening to what is being said to you and what's being said, what it actually means as well. Taking note of what's being said and thinking about what that might actually mean for you, and analysing that for opportunities or things to be aware of or things to be concerned about. So it's really important to have that mindset of trying to learn at every step of the process, because even if you have no's, if you've learnt something along the way about what they're looking for, or what they thought of what you had to put forward, then that's going to allow you to continue to refine your process and your approach moving forward, hopefully for the better. So essentially that means if you can do that out of each interaction, have some sort of learning out of it, then there is no wasted approach. Do you know what I mean? Because you're continually improving and getting yourself better for the next time that you're approaching. And it's a process, it's something that's not going to happen overnight. It's something that you need to build your confidence in doing and build your skill set, and the only way you can do that is by doing it. So hopefully if we're taking that approach of just looking at it as a process, as we're looking to learn and looking to improve as we go along, then that'll mean that at no point should you feel down if you're getting no's, because it's going to be a no, but you've learned something, or you've got another opportunity or another idea of something to do for when you're talking to the next person. Now, as far as what the actual sponsorship process is, there's no hard and fast rule, but generally I'm going to put up a process here on the next slide, which is the process that I generally follow, or would say that you guys should follow. Now, you need to customize it and work it to play to your strengths and to play to the situation that you're in, and that's, again, it's all that part of that process of listening and responding and refining based on your experiences as you go through. But this is probably a good starting point for you. And what I'd like you guys to do is to take this information on this next slide, this sort of process step by step, and create your own document, which is your sponsorship approaching process. Now, you might add in some extra steps in there as far as, when you do the research and when you do the calls and things like that, based on, your own situation. You might just leave it how it is, but either way, I want you to go through that mental process of actually, writing out those steps, really thinking about how it's going to work, and just having that for yourself, because you really need to know your process inside and out, so you can enact it on the fly. You know, when you get a response to a question, you know what the next step is depending on what that response is. You know, if you ask for a meeting and they say no, right away you know what you're going to ask for next, and so on and so forth. So yeah, there is a process on the next bit, but I want you guys to, even if you're just going to follow exactly what that process is, go through the activity of writing it out and refining it for yourself and expanding it if you need to. So it's, you know, make it yours. Even if it is a copy and paste of what I put up there, just make it yours so you can really be thinking about it and looking at it from your point of view. Okay, so this is my general process. Now, first step is a step that we've already talked about earlier, which is developing your target list. Now, I think that was week 3 of this program that we talked about developing that target list. So hopefully you guys have been doing that. So you've got some targets already that you have in mind for contacting. Now I know you guys haven't got your proposals and stuff as yet because we're still, a couple of you, we haven't got to the point of having that ready to go to design yet. I know some are on their way to design, so it won't be too long, which is great. But what we need to do is make sure that we're ready. So as soon as you've got that material, you're ready to hit the ground running, okay? So I want you guys to really be developing that target list so you've got those targets and your pitch to those guys sorted, you know, in the next little while, because you need to be able to hit the ground running. The time is slipping away from us. It's going to be the beginning of the next season before we know it. I mean, it's only a couple of weeks until Christmas now, so we really need to get our fingers out, really, and get this happening. So if you haven't done that target list, or even if you have done it, continue working on it. Make sure you've got, you know, an exact person to contact. If that means you need to ring up reception and ask who the marketing manager is and get their contact details, then do that. If it means you have to stalk LinkedIn for a while to work out who the person is, then do that. Put that research in so when you're picking up the phone, you know who you're asking for, and you know, you're ready to talk to them. When you're doing all that for your target list, you also need to be thinking about how you're going to pitch to them. So obviously there's a reason that company is on your target list. So what are those reasons? What are the business goals that they're looking for? How are you going to solve those business goals? What is it about what you're offering that's going to appeal to them and appeal to the things that are, you know, keeping them up at night, the goals that they need to meet, the things that their bosses are asking them for, the outcomes that they need for their job to be viewed as successful. Have a think about all of those things and have that all prepared and know exactly why you're calling that person. You know, if you cannot imagine yourself in that person's position thinking that what you're offering is a great idea, then you're missing something. So go back, find out what it is about that company and about what they're trying to do and about what you're trying to do that makes it a match. You know, it makes it a marketing opportunity for them, an opportunity for them to invest and get results from that, not just to throw money at someone, because that's not what you're selling. You're selling a marketing opportunity. So you need to be ready to sell with what the marketing opportunity is for them, not the opportunity that's for you if you can get sponsors, but what the opportunity is for them if they invest in your marketing opportunity. Okay, so keep all of that in mind when you're doing this targeting, because, you know, there shouldn't be anyone on that target list that you can't argue why they should be investing in you, okay? Because if they're not relevant, they shouldn't even be on the list. You're wasting their time and you're wasting your time, and it's no good for anyone, okay? So make sure that target list is really relevant, it's really refined, and you've got all the information you can, so you can make sure that your pitch is on message and as relevant to them as you possibly can. You know, think back to that first ad that you saw of mine that started us talking. You know, I talked about the things that were bothering you. I talked about the issues that you were having as an aspiring racer. I didn't say, you know, I'm a PR manager and I can write press releases and I can talk to you about, you know, what sponsors want and things like that. I might have mentioned something very briefly at, you know, in the last line, but the first, you know, 10 sentences of that ad was all about you and what your situation was and what you were looking for and what you wanted, and you need to take that same approach. Okay, so once you've got your target list underway, there might be a lag between when you put someone on a target list and when you actually call them, and there definitely will be in this case, because I want you guys working on that list now, and I know that you haven't got your proposals yet. So what you need to do, and this needs to be a habit, is each time you go to contact someone on your target list, you need to go back and double check all the details. Make sure that person still works there. Make sure that their position is still the same. Make sure that there hasn't been some big announcement for the company since you last put them on there that might change their plan of attack. Make sure that there isn't, something perhaps that they've done that creates a new opportunity for you, a new selling point. So go back, have a look at their website, have a look in the news articles for them. Have a look at that person that you've put down to contact on LinkedIn or on Facebook, and just check that everything is still up to date. You want to try and look at, are they still the right person? What's the best method to contact them? What's the best time to contact them? All that kind of thing. A lot of that, is about understanding the kind of business that they are and what kind of things that they're doing. So, for instance, if you're contacting a newspaper journalist for a daily newspaper, you don't call them at 5 o'clock in the afternoon because they're on deadline for that day's paper. If you're calling a corporate person, you probably don't call them at 3 o'clock on a Friday because mentally they're checked out. They're going to the weekend. Again, you don't call them at 9 a.m. on a Monday because they're catching up on everything from the weekend. So have a think about what the role is, what their duties are, what they're likely to be doing, and try and revolve your contacts around that kind of thing. Now, when it actually comes to initiating contact, if you can get an introduction, that is a really valuable thing, because it gives you that bit of credibility. You're not just some stranger that's walked in off the street. You're someone that they know is putting forward as someone that they should talk to. So on your target list, we talked about the people that you know, and we talked about the people that you know that know other people and things like that. So hopefully there's someone on your target list where you actually have an in-person, a personal connection to that target, either directly or through someone else. So try and get that introduction first, whether that's face-to-face, ideally, or if you need to, be introduced via email or through LinkedIn or something like that, that's always a good thing as well, because it gives you that extra level of credibility to start the relationship off with, which is fantastic. Now, if you can't get introduced, that's where you need to create an introduction. Now, again, preferably face-to-face is great. If you can go into their business, if it's like, a mum and dad business that's in your street or whatever, you can go in and just ask to have a chat to them. Or if it's someone that you see that exhibits at events that you go to, or if there's someone that is, on hand at your racing events, maybe they're a supplier or something like that, take the time to go up and introduce yourself. The person that you need to talk to might not actually be the person that's there, but again, you're creating that opportunity for an introduction. You're talking to someone that's there, you're telling them what you're wanting to do, you're asking who the best person to talk to is, and maybe they can introduce you, or they can put you in contact, or they can give you the details that you need, or they can give you the information that you need. So try for that personal introduction. Worst case, if you can't get an introduction and you can't introduce yourself face to face, that's when it comes time to pick up the phone. Now, I know that can be really, really scary, but it's so important, because if you're just sending an email to someone who's never met you, they've never heard of you, they don't know who you are, it's got a big gnarly attachment on it, they've got no idea, and they have a look and like, oh, yep, this guy's trying to get me to give them money, the delete button is not far away, my friends, because these people get approached constantly, and you don't, you're just going to run the risk of being in spam. You can have the best written email in the world. If it's cold and they don't know where it's coming from, and they've got a heap of emails in their inbox, they're just going to drill through it. They don't know who you are, delete. Okay? So you want to avoid that happening by having some kind of personal connection. So if you can't get an introduction directly through someone that knows them and knows you, if you can't create your own introduction face-to-face, either by going in, if it's, obviously you wouldn't just walk into a corporate, but if it's like a mum and dad business, something like that, you can't meet them at an exhibition or at an event that they're going to, then it's time to pick up the phone and try and just have a chat. Now, you may have issues with gatekeepers. Now, when I say gatekeepers, I mean people like receptionists, especially at the bigger companies. So this is where knowing who you're asking for and having some confidence is really important. So knowing who you're asking for straight up helps you to seem less like you're someone just trying to sell something. If you can ring up and confidently go, look, my name is, my name's Amanda, and I'm calling to talk to the marketing manager, James Smith. Is he available at the moment, please? That's a lot more likely to get put through than, hi, I want to talk to someone in marketing. Is there anyone available? Or can I talk to the marketing manager? If you know who you're asking for, you know what you're doing, you're more likely to get through that gatekeeper. If you do get stuck with a gatekeeper, you just need to try and be confident and say, look, I need to talk to the marketing manager about a marketing opportunity. When's the best time to call them? What's the best way to contact them? Can I be put through to have a chat to them? That kind of thing. Just be direct, be friendly, always be friendly, because if you piss off a gatekeeper, you're not getting anywhere. It's just not going to happen. So always get friendly, and you will get the ones that use their gatekeeper status as, the be-all and end-all. We've all met the volleys at places that just, go over the top. It's the same with gatekeepers. They sometimes get a little bit drunk with the power, and that's okay. That's their job. Their job is to protect the people that work there from the thousands and thousands and thousands of sales calls they get a day. So they're doing their job, so you just need to play the game there, okay? Alright, just to recap that. So dealing with gatekeepers, we want to have done all of our research at the beginning so we know who we're asking for. Now with LinkedIn and everything online now, it shouldn't be too difficult for you to know who you're asking for. So do all of that research. If you absolutely cannot find a name, know the position you're asking for. Marketing manager, marketing coordinator, communications manager. They're the people that you want to ask for, but try and work out what their positions are at that company. Even just Googling it will assist you to work out, who you're going to ask for. Be friendly, be direct, be confident, do what you can. If you really can't get around this gatekeeper, ask if you can leave a message, they can call you back. Ask if you can get their email address so you can email them the information. Ask if there's a best time for you to call that person. If they're, if you're told that they're too busy, okay, yeah, I completely understand. Is there a better time of day or during the week that they're best off to receive calls about things like marketing opportunities? Just always asking questions, always trying to find that next opportunity, okay? So nothing's a no. If you can ask the next thing, make sure you're walking away with something. You're walking away with an email address. You're walking away with a name. You're walking away with information as to when the best time is to contact them. There's always something you can walk away with. So persevere, but always be friendly and be, respectful of the position that they're having to play as well. Now, when you do get through to this person that you need to talk to, you need to be, what we want to do first is we want to ask for a meeting, because the personal touch is what sells these kind of things. They see proposals all the time. They want to meet someone, they want to talk to someone, they want to ask questions. You want to be able to talk to them directly so you can gauge their impact. So asking for a meeting is the first thing. Now, while that's the first thing, I'm not saying you're going to get it, but if you don't ask, you're definitely not going to get it. So asking for a meeting is the first thing. So basically what you want to do is you need to be prepared with a little bit of an opening spiel, a couple of minutes max, not even that. Basically, oh my god, sorry, don't mind me, my cat just jumped on me and scared the living crap out of me. Alright, so what we're going to do is you're going to call this person, right? You're going to call the marketing manager. You're going to explain to them quickly who you are, the fact that you have a marketing opportunity for them to be involved in that you think is going to help them bang, bang, and bang. 3 benefits that are going to help them straight away. I'd really like to meet up with you so I can get an understanding for what exactly it is that you guys are looking for, and we can create, hopefully something that's going to work for you guys. am I able to come in and meet up with you next week, or do you have any time for me to pop in to your office next week and I can, you know, give you a presentation. Ask for the meeting. You know, don't get into talking a spiel for 10-15 minutes. Just get on the phone, introduce yourself, explain in 1 or 2 sentences what you're doing, ask for the meeting. If you can't get the meeting, if they're too busy or they don't have time, or look, can you just send me some information? That's fine. Get permission to send that information. You know, if they just say, look, no, I haven't got time. Okay, will that be all right then if I send you some information, then maybe I can give you a call and see if there might be some time coming up in, you know, in a few weeks' time or something that we can catch up. Get a direct email address. Double check that you got the email address correct. Ask them how you should attention it. Especially if it's a generic email like marketing@bobsyouruncle.com. Ask if there's a particular subject matter or person that it should be attention to. This is especially important if you're talking to a gatekeeper and they go, look, you know, they don't have time to talk to you, just send it through to marketing@bob. You go, okay, is there someone in particular I should be attentioning it to? Because that's going to help minimize the chances of it getting deleted because someone doesn't know what it is. If it's personally addressed to someone, that's going to help. When I say attention, I mean in your subject line or in your email, you say, you know, look, this is, you know, dear Sarah, or in the subject line, attention Sarah, as discussed, marketing opportunity, Matthew Bode or Cameron Kerr or Josh Haywood, you know. So get that permission, you know, because that way if you've gotten their permission to send it, when it pops up in their inbox, they know what it is. So that's really important. If you have been lucky enough to get your meeting, obviously you're going to attend that meeting at the time and place that suits them. You need to professionally present yourself, and, you know, that means collared shirt, long pants, you know, shaved or, you know, groomed, all that usual kind of stuff. Have hard copies of your presentation. If you're going to do a PowerPoint presentation or something like, or, you know, run them through an electronic version of the presentation, make sure you've got everything you need to do that. So you've brought your laptop, you've got your, you know, your presentation on the computer there. Don't rely on them to supply anything. You need to be self-sufficient. If you're just running them through the hard copy, that's fine, but make sure that you have a hard copy for them, maybe an extra hard copy or two, and a hard copy for yourself to run them through, because you don't want to be sharing a document. That's just not very professional. Run them through what's happening, you know, and use that opportunity to get more information from them as far as what they're looking for. Take note of the things that they seem interested in and the things that they don't seem interested in. Where they seem interested, you know, pick up on those cues and use that to revise what you're talking about as you go to really hit those parts that they seem excited about. Once your meeting's done, you know, you want to walk out of that meeting with some kind of next step. So they may say, look, you know, that's great, I need to show it to my boss, or I need to send it to headquarters, or I need to have a look at our budgets, or whatever it is. There'll be something that they say that they're going to do, and that's fine. That's pretty usual. What you need to do is walk out of there with a next step, which is when you can contact them again. So if they say, look, you know, we need to send it to such and such, or I need to this, okay, yep, that's great. Is it alright if I give you a call, say, next Wednesday? You know, probably go like a week after your meeting at the earliest, just to see how you're going. Generally, they'll say, yep, that's fine. So then you've got that in your diary. You've got a follow-up point at which they've approved for you to contact them. So you're starting that process that you keep things moving along. And always offering that, go, yep, you know, look, I'll give you a call on Wednesday and see how you're going. But in the meantime, if you have any questions or any concerns, or if you need extra copies of the information, or if there's anything else I can send you, please don't hesitate to let me know. Make sure they have your contact details. Your contact details should be in your information that you're giving them, but make sure that they've got them as well. And make sure that you've got their direct contact details as well. You know, if you've gotten into that meeting without having their direct email or their direct phone number, if you've always gone through a gatekeeper, ask for a business card, ask for their direct phone lines. That way you can bypass the gatekeeper in future, which you should be able to because you've had that in-person meeting. So they're less likely to want you to go through the gatekeeper. They're more likely to be happy to give you that direct phone number. So that's the time to ask for it if you haven't already got it. Once you leave that meeting, you need to follow up that same day with an email basically saying, look, thank you again for taking the time to chat to me. Here's an electronic copy of the things that we, the document that I presented to you today. That way they've got that to share around as well if they like. And recap the key points of what you talked about. Recap the fact that you're going to call at that certain time and that they can contact you at any time on the details below if they have any questions or anything that they want to run past you. Reiterate the fact that you're ready to work with them to create something that's going to work for them. So, if you've presented packages, they've been presented as starting points. You're willing to work with them to do tailored packages that meet exactly what they're looking for. Remind them of all of these things. And I'm not saying world and peace. I'm saying, just recap those things quickly to just reiterate that in their mind. If you haven't had that meeting, you've been asked to email the information through, that's fine. Make sure you get the direct email that they want. Ask them what kind of file they prefer. Is PDF okay? Ask them if they prefer you to post it. It's always a nice touch to post stuff like that because people just don't do it anymore. I tend to say, email it through, but also post a hard copy. Because it's something that's going to, keep you top of mind. It's something that's going to make you stand out a little bit because everyone emails everything these days. Very, very rare these days for people to actually post something. So if you're having to email your presentation through because you haven't been able to get that meeting, you want to make that as impactful as possible. So you're going to email the presentation. You're going to have your personalised pitch in that email. You're going to again request a meeting within that email. But you're also going to post it and post a similar letter along with it as well. When you get permission to email it and you've gone, look, what's the best format, what's the best email address, who should I attention it to, all those kind of things. Also go, look, is it okay if I give you a call next week, once you've had a chance to have a look and just, gather your feedback. I'd really love any opportunity to hear your feedback on the proposal, and hopefully we can meet up at that point, but if not, I'd still really love the chance just to hear what you thought. Get that permission to follow up and find out when's the best time for me to give you a call. Is there a particular day or time of the week that works best for you? What's the best number to call you on? Get all that information, and listen to anything that they're saying as well. Really, use every opportunity you can to secure a next step and to secure as much information as you can to make what you're doing as effective as possible. So, okay, yep, I've got to send an email to you. I know where I'm sending it to. I know who I'm attentioning it to. I know that I'm posting something as well. And I know that you've agreed that I can follow up with you at this particular point. This will help, it's a fine process between following up and being a crazy stalker and putting someone off. And it's really, really difficult, and their priorities are different to yours. What you're putting in front of them is one of 50 things that they're probably considering on any one day. So it's a lot more important to you than it is to them. It's important to follow up because if you don't, it's so easy for it to get left by the wayside. It gets other things crop up. It just, it gets pushed aside. But you can't follow up too much, otherwise they're not going to want to work with you because you start coming across as demanding and difficult. You don't want that to happen. So that's why it's really important to get that kind of semi-approved follow-up point, at these, like as we were talking about, when can I give you a call? Is it alright if I touch base with you next week to see what you thought? When's the best time for me to call you? Get that in there. Then at each time that you touch base with them, do that again, repeat that process. If there's something like, oh, yep, I've just got to send it off here, or I'm still waiting for my boss to come back, listen to the information that they're giving you and then suggest the next time that you touch base with them. If, you're starting to come up to deadlines and things like that, and, the pressure's starting to get on, that's fine, and it's okay to tell them that, but just do it in a way that's not getting snotty, if that makes sense. It's like, look, I know the Christmas break's coming up and it's really busy, so is it okay if I touch base with you in the new year? We are looking to have everything in place by the end of January if we're going to go ahead with this program, so would it be okay if I give you a call, first week back of January when you're back from the break, so we can just see how you're going, and if there's anything else that, we can have a chat about, and maybe we can have a meet up then. Just work with them on, show that you understand the challenges that they're working with, the parameters that they're working with, work within what they're asking you, to do. You know, if they tell you not to call them at 8 a.m. on a Monday, don't call them at 8 a.m. on a Monday. They ask you to call on a mobile rather than on the direct line. Call on the mobile, not the direct line, and vice versa. You know, do what they've asked you to do, because if they've told you what they want you to do, the worst thing you can do is disregard that. And that reminds me too, don't forget, right back at the beginning of this process, to check, especially for corporates, on their websites for those sponsorship submission, you know, community support submission rules, because again, that's, you know, if they've spelt out how they'll take stuff, then you want to take that information and run with it. You don't want to disregard it, because you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball there. Alright, so that's pretty much the process. So it's get that get that target list, have your plan of attack ready, get introduced. If you can't get introduced, create an introduction for yourself. Once you're talking to them, ask for a meeting. If you get that meeting, present in that meeting, deliver an in-person presentation, follow up with a thank you and electronic copy of that information. Have a next step in place for when you're going to contact them. If you can't get a meeting, get permission to send the information. Get the information that you need to make sure that you're sending it to the right person at the right time, in the right format, attention to the right, the right people. Have a personalized pitch letter. Post a personally addressed version of it as well. Work within any requirements they have, and again, ask for the next stage. If I'm going to send you an email, you want me to email it? That's fine. Is it okay if I touch base with you next week to see what you thought? Always have that next step. Always be looking for as much information as you can. Ask questions. Listen to what's being said. Think about what's being said and what that might mean for you. Are there opportunities that are coming up? Are there things that you need to be aware of that might be an issue? Listen very carefully to what's being said, and then follow up. Keep that follow-up process going forward. Make sure if you've said that you're going to call them that you do. Make sure if they call you that you call them back, and do not miss any opportunity, to grow that relationship and keep that moving forward. Alright, so that's the general process, and the thing overall here is the personal touch, and I know that process sounds scary. It's so much easier to go, look, I'm just going to get an email address for the marketing department and I'll just send this email, and if they're interested, they'll get back to me. That's a really easy and non-scary way to go, but it's not going to yield you results 99% of the time, because I've worked in a marketing department for a big corporate, and we used to get emails constantly from advertising people and, people wanting sponsorship and people just selling stuff all the time. I mean, in the course of recording this video, I've had 2 telemarketers call me on my mobile phone. It's constantly getting hassled. So if you don't have that personal touch, you're just another one of these people that are cold calling them or cold selling them, and it's just delete. The email inboxes of these people are ridiculous. The amount of emails they get a day is insane, and the amount of those that are sales emails, a lot of the time unsolicited, is pretty scary. So just initiating that contact, even if it's as simple as talking to the marketing manager on the phone and getting their permission to send you something, can make all the difference. It can stop your information being deleted, for one, and that's a very, very important first step, So put that priority on that personal touch, and that's why, when I was talking to you guys about establishing your target list, I wanted you to really think about who you know already, who the people know, who's at the events that you go to, who is, supporting things in your community. Those are all things where you can easily establish that personal relationship, because you can go up and have a chat to them. You can get someone to introduce you. So that's, it just makes it easier for yourself. So I know it's scary to put yourself out there and to be talking to these people directly, and that you'll be nervous, but it's going to make your job of actually selling what you're doing easier if you've got that personal touch, because it's going to set you apart to begin with. Because these people are getting proposals and emails and people trying to sell to them all day, every day, so it's important to have that personal touch to stand apart. Now, a few things to remember, it's all about what's in it for them. They don't care about you, they care about meeting their needs and their goals and everything like that. Think back to that ad that I wrote that got us talking. I talked about you, I talked about what was bothering you, I talked about what you wanted. I mentioned sort of at the end, oh, you know, maybe I can help you with this stuff, but all of the first part of it that got you involved in it, got you interested in it, was all about you. It showed that I understood what you were going through, what you were looking for, what your challenges were. You need to do the same thing. So you need to work out what they need. How are you going to do that? Through research. And then you're going to expand on that by, when you're having that interaction with them, by listening to what they're saying. Taking note of what things they seem excited about, what things they don't seem excited about, asking questions about how things, you know, what's happening. Always ask questions. Never ever turn down an opportunity to get more information from these people. And the best opportunity for that is when you're having conversations, you know, on the phone, in person. That backwards and forwards that you can get through building that relationship is what's going to give you these insights that are going to help you to really nail what's important to that person. Remember to always ask those questions we were talking about how they prefer to receive information. You know, what's the best day for you to contact them on? When would it be okay for you to call back? You know, is there anything else that you can do to help them? Is there, you know, what else can you do? Always asking those questions. If it's a no, at the end of the day, if you get a no, that's fine, as long as you ask for feedback. You know, was there something that was missing that meant it wasn't suitable for what they were looking for? Would they be happy for you to approach them again at another time if, you know, perhaps they're just like, look, we don't have any budget at the moment, or we've just signed up, you know, another program which is meant that we're not doing any more community support at the moment, or whatever it is. If it's something that is that kind of excuse where it's not the right time, or it's just not, you know, it's not the right fit at the moment, that sort of thing, if that's got that little bit of a window there, get permission to follow up again another time. You know, just because it's a no now doesn't mean it's always going to be a no. Ask if it's okay, you know, if they're like, oh, look, you know, it was really, really great, but it's just not a right fit right now. Is it okay for you to, you know, include them on your information list, so, you know, they can be up to date with what you're doing through the year, and maybe you can touch base with them this time next year, or, you know, what's the best time during the year to touch base to talk about these kind of things? If they've said it's the wrong time for them, if their budget's exhausted, okay, well, what's the best time to give you a call, you know, maybe for next year? And is it okay if I, you know, keep you updated with my progress and how my program's going in the meantime? The worst thing they can say is no. So ask the question. It might lead to another opportunity, or it might lead to just being able to, you know, chip away at that relationship. Never pass up an opportunity to learn and to refine. You know, you're going to constantly be refining this process. That process I just walked you through is a basic process for guiding what you're going to do for whoever you're talking to, right? But you're going to be refining it. You're going to be always refining that, depending on the people that you're talking to, depending on the feedback that you're getting, depending on what you're offering. You're going to be refining it, depending on how you go and what your strengths and weaknesses are with presenting, or with, you know, talking to them, or what documents you have to show them, and all those sorts of things. You're going to refine it. So, but when you refine it based on something. Okay? Look at the feedback that you're getting and use that to refine what you're doing. Don't refine stuff on a gut instinct. Refine it based on results, because that's what you can trust. Now, I mentioned before about pitch letters, so I just wanted to quickly mention this again here. Now, when we were talking about this, I was mentioning about as far as if you've got to email your proposal over. You know, you haven't got a meeting straight up, but they've asked you to email information. So you're going to send your proposal over. Now, your proposal is a generic document, so it's important to have a personalised pitch. Now, ideally, you want to do your pitch in person, you know, verbally, with an interactive environment. That's why you ask for your meeting. But if you can't do your meeting and you need to send through some information to them, you still need to do that personalised pitch, and that's where the pitch letter comes in. Now, it's like a cover letter, for instance. If you think about when you send someone a resume, and then you have a cover letter. Now, your cover letter talks about exactly why you are a fit for that job. It might talk about key selection criteria. It might talk about the key requirements for that job. This is exactly the same thing. Think about your proposal as your resume and your pitch letter as your cover letter. You're saying why you're a good fit for them. You're saying why your marketing opportunity is going to meet their goals. What business goals they have that you can meet. Why it's an opportunity they can't pass up. You know, that's what your pitch letter is for. So this letter is all about spelling out the exact benefits to them. You know, it's not about copying and pasting the packages out of your proposal if you've got a package. It's about synthesizing for them in a concise manner why they should give a crap about what you're doing. You know, what are the benefits to them? What are the unique things that they're trying to do as a business or as a marketing manager or, you know, the owner of the corner store, whoever it is. What are the things that they're trying to do that you can help them do because of what you're propositioning, you know, what you're approaching, what you're offering is the word I'm trying to find here. You know, that's what you need to get across in this letter. Now, as part of your proposal document, I'm going to write you guys a template pitch letter to start you off. So you can basically use that as a starting point, and then you will fill that out based on what the goals or the aims or the, you know, the situation is of the particular company that you're talking to. But in the meantime, if you want to think a bit more about these letters and what kind of information you need in there, because it's probably a good exercise for you guys, because when you're presenting to these guys and when you're pitching to these guys, you need to know this stuff anyway, okay? So refer back to page 5 of the how-to document for week 2, which was that base content development, because that had some tips on what is going to be in that letter, okay? And then think back to the things we talked about how you work out what they're looking for. You know, what are their business goals? What are their competitors doing? Where are they based? What are they offering their customers? You know, do they have a supplier group that they need to keep happy? Are they a really big employer, in which case they need to keep their employment workforce happy as well? Are they expanding into a new area where you're going to be racing? Do they have shops in each of the areas that you're going to be racing? Are they, you know, are they in some areas but not others? Are there competitors in areas that they're not, that you're going to be racing, and so you could help put their message into a market they're not currently in, and, you know, to counteract the activities of their competitors? All of these things you'll be able to find out from research. So understanding who their target audience is, understanding who they're trying to sell to, understanding what they're trying to do. Work out how you deliver on those things, and that's what you're going to pitch, okay? So something that I haven't talked about just yet here is, you know, I've talked about how you approach them, how you get in to talk to them, what you're going to put forward to them. I haven't talked to you so much about what you're actually going to say in your presentation. Now, what you're going to say in that presentation is as much about what we just talked about as it is about what's in your actual proposal. Like, obviously, you're going to walk them through the presentation that you have. But what you're also going to do is be driving home those pitch points. You know, so that's where all of this comes down to. You can't walk into that meeting, you can't pick up the phone without first knowing exactly what it is you're selling. And what you are selling is what you can do for them, what goals of theirs that you can hit. It's all about them. It's what they're going to get out of it. It's what they're trying to do. You are just the means to the end for them. And they have many things that they can invest in to chase those business goals. So you need to position yourself as the best possible option, you know. So really concentrate when you're building that target list, you know, going back to the beginning, when you're building that target list, why are they on that target list? What is it about them that means that you can offer them value? What are the business goals that you can hit? How would you do that? What would you offer them that makes you a marketing opportunity that they would be absolutely idiotic to pass up? That's what you need to know, because that's what you're going to sell, that's what you're going to present, and that's what's going to be, just going to get you over the line. So focus on that, you know, make sure that that target list is so relevant and is, you understand completely who the people are that's on that list and what they want and how you meet that. Because if you really understand that, there's not going to be, you know, you're going to be more prepared, you're going to know what you're talking about, and you're going to be able to confidently sell to these people. Because if you know that you can deliver these goals for them, then that's, you know, that's what you need. That's why they're going to invest in you. They're not going to invest in you because you need tyres or you need your entry fee covered. They're going to invest in you because you can help them talk directly to their target market of 18 to 35-year-old males who have an interest in motorsport, for instance, just to pick an easy one. That's why they're going to support you. That's something that they want to do, and that's something that you can help them do. That's why they're going to support you, not because you need an entry fee covered, or because you have raced 5 races this year and you came in the top 10 for each of them. It's what you can offer them. Think of yourself as a marketing platform. That's what you're offering to them. So you need to know and understand that. That is so important. So put a lot of thought and effort into that, into your target list, and understanding those people on that target list, and understanding how you're going to sell to them and what it is that you're offering them. Because your pitch letter is going to be all about that. Your proposal is a professional document that's going to make you look good, but it's all going to be about how you sell it and how you sell those benefits and show that you understand them and that you can deliver for them. That's what's going to come down to. So put that thought, that research in. Really invest the time and effort into that, because these people get approached day after day by people that don't even know who they're supposed to be asking for. They don't know the marketing manager's name. They don't know where these guys are located. All they've done is Googled, some sort of kind of company, and then just sent stuff off en masse. They haven't put that thought and that effort in, and that's what you need to do. Okay, so that is a fair bit of brain dump for you guys there, so hopefully that wasn't all too overwhelming. I know this part is really critical for you guys and it's really important, so if you've got any questions or you need any help with all of that information, as always, just pick up the phone, send me a text, post it in the Facebook forum. This is something I'm sure you're all going to have questions about, so use that Facebook forum to put those questions up, and I can talk about it in there for everyone's benefit. Or if you want to have a chat on the phone, just give me a call or send me a text message. Now, as far as where we're at in this program, we've got the break coming up now. So this is the last video before Christmas. You'll each have your calls next week. So if we haven't got a call time scheduled for you, let me know when's going to work for you. But I'm pretty sure we're all scheduled up, which is great. Now, as far as where we're up to, this is the 6th video for the programs, which means we've got 2 more to come. And I want you guys to really use this break. Remember, I've extended the break by a week for you, so you've got that chance to catch up. It's really important that you guys catch up with all this sort of stuff, so you're getting the most that you can out of this. We're getting towards the pointy end of things, and I want you to really be able to ask me all the questions that you possibly need, and use that contact with me that we've got. We've got 3 more phone calls before the end of this program, and you want to be using those phone calls to really get the information that you need, get the feedback that you need, get the coaching that you need, and that's only going to happen if you're going through those tasks, if you're keeping up to date. Okay, so this is where we're at the moment. So week 1 was about the goal setting, which everyone's done, so well done. And the questionnaire, again, which everyone has done. Now, there are a couple of you where I need some information to get your proposal written up, so you need to get that information through to me ASAP. As well as that, I need imagery from you guys, so when the proposal text is done, it can go over to design for you. So if you haven't sent me images, send them through ASAP. My postal address is on the bottom of that questionnaire document from week 1. So if you need to send me a CD or a USB stick, that's the way to do it. Otherwise, you can send me a Dropbox link. There's also things like WeTransferBigFiles.com, things like that, to send big files like that. So get those, get information over to me and get the images over, so we can get that proposal done for you in the next couple of weeks, because you're going to need that to start doing your selling. If you haven't already got a presentation that you're using and you're waiting on that proposal, we don't want to hold that up. Okay, so get that information and get those images through ASAP. Week 2, the outcomes were to draft up your bio document, and also if you wanted to do a backgrounder, you could as well. Now, I've only seen 1 bio document so far, so you guys need to, who haven't done that, need to draft up your bio document, because that's something that is important. You know, we're going to use that information in your proposals. You can use it on your website. You can use it in your About Us page of your social media pages. You know, it's something that is handy for you. You'll need it to send to the commentary guys, for instance, when you're back racing. You know, it's something that I really want you guys to do. So you'll remember that I understand that you guys aren't writers. Just give it your best crack and then post it in the Facebook group for feedback, or send it to me directly via email, and I'll tweak it and update it as required to get it to the point it needs to be, so you've got that to move forward with. In week 2, you were supposed to start your photo library as well, so if you haven't done that yet, get that happening. You really should be. If you're getting the images ready for the proposal, you know, that's 2 birds with 1 stone, so get that happening. Week 3 was all about the target list. So, you know, as you guys have heard me rabbit on about this today, target list is really, really important for your sponsorship approach process, okay? It's your biggest first thing. So if nothing else, I want you guys to really focus on that, okay? Your media list and stuff is important as well. You know, if you're going to start approaching the media when your racing season starts back up, or even if you've got news over the off season, so you need to have those media lists happening as well. But if you've got to pick, sponsors is the one that you need to focus on, especially at the moment, because I want you guys to be ready to hit the ground running once you've got your information ready, okay? So don't forget about that. Week 4, we talked about media plans and you know, starting your planning process there. So I want you guys to start plugging into your media plans, you know, your race dates you've got coming up. Or if you haven't got race dates yet, think about the topics that, you know, the media things that you might do. So there'll be things like, you know, the announcement of your calendar. There'll be the previews and reviews for each event. If there's a home ground event, then there's an angle. If you've got a milestone coming up, there's an angle. If you know you're getting a new car at some certain point, there's an angle. If you're participating in something that's a bit different, or it's a bit unusual, or it's, you know, some sort of story behind the event that you're competing in or something like that, that's an angle. So think about those things. If you might not be able to put in dates because you might not have a race program locked away 100% for next year, but start thinking about that process. And I want you to start thinking about your first media release as well. What info you'll include, who you'll send it to, what the topic will be. Because I need you to really be thinking about these tasks so you can ask me the questions that are going to come up. You know, if you sit down to go and do it in 6 months, you're like, oh, actually, you know, I don't really know how to do this. If you look at it now, we can answer those questions for you now. Now, week 5 was about fan relations. So that was about things like websites and email updates and social media pages and things like that. So I want to see you guys having a look at those things. I want to see social media pages up and underway, and I want to see the fan relations plan that you guys have. Again, like with the media thing, you might not have exact dates and stuff because you don't know when you're running, but have a list of the things you're going to do. You know, you're going to do a monthly blog. Are you going to do? You're obviously going to email them before and after each round with you know, your press releases and things like that. But you're going to do a monthly blog. What's your social media plan? What kind of content are you going to put out there? You know, you can be doing stuff now, so get that underway. And then week 6, well, that's this week. So what I want you to do this week is to take that process that we've talked about, you know, today, and then just really write it out for yourself. Hit me up if you've got any questions, if you're not sure what to do with something, if I've confused you guys, because I've been rabbiting on like crazy today, I know. You know, go through that process, because I want you to really be comfortable with that and to know in your head what you're doing. You know, you might even want to, when you write that process, write it as a flow chart even. You know, those ones where you've got, you know, you start with option A and then it's, you know, ask for a meeting, and then it's like, yes, I got a meeting, okay, then we go over here and we do this. Or, no, I didn't get a meeting, okay, well then we follow the trail down and we do this one over here. That might be something that is going to work for you. It depends on how you like to visualize things, how you like to plan things. So do it in the way that's going to work for you. But whatever way it is, even if it's just copying the list of what's in this PowerPoint, just write it out for yourself and make it your own, okay? Alright, so there's lots and lots and lots for you guys to do. You've got 3 weeks break. So in between the Christmas, unwrapping the gifts and the Christmas lights and New Year's and all of that, I want you guys to really dig deep and get this stuff done, okay? Because I want you to get the absolute most you can out of this. I really, really do. Okay, so that's enough from me this week. As I said, if you've got any questions, if I've confused the hell out of you, if you're not sure what to do, or if you just want to run some ideas past me, whatever it is, you've got my number, you've got my email address, we've got the Facebook group, hit me up and we'll have a chat and we'll get you where you need to go. So I'll talk to all you guys next week. In the meantime, just hit me up if you need anything. Alright guys, have a great one. Talk to you soon. Bye.